What is up once again, everybody? You know who it is. It is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day 2000 to today. What is going on, everybody? How are you? Am I glad you're here? Hell yeah, I got a great episode for you guys this week. I got a great conversation with another band. Kevin got another band on the podcast? No way! Yeah, we did, thanks to our friend Kathy. Once again. All right, but before we get into that, you guys know I'm going to start this out with my shameless plug section. Because, well, if I had ad advertisement right now, this is where it would go. Just the beginning, so you guys could, if you guys didn't want to really hear it, you guys could skip through it. But if you guys wanted to hear it and hear my take on it, that's where you'd hear it. But I got to plug my stuff, too, because Chord Progression Podcast is the podcast from My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to today. So make sure you're following My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to today on every single platform that we have, because it is the best rock community on the internet. Follow us on Facebook. That's where we run literally all of our traffic through. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going different places, but Facebook is like our main hub. You guys want to be on it. Link in the podcast description along with everything else. Twitter. Yeah, we're on Twitter, at Rock2000 to today. That 2000 is the number, that 2 is the word. We just talk to you guys about a lot of things that are going on in music. So we'll talk to you about, new albums, music news, and a bunch of other fun stuff. Really? You'll talk about that? Yeah, you bet I'll talk about that. Also, follow us on Instagram, because Instagram's a huge platform for us. It's where we have our largest base of the audience is on there. We do lots of things on Instagram. We'll talk to you guys about, the same stuff we talk to you on Twitter, because it's another great platform to get connected with you guys on. Get connected with everybody. Also do some other fun things too, like actually ask you straight up questions and kind of get a dialogue going between a lot of people. We also have IGTV videos on there, which is like a once a week behind the scenes vlog that I do myself, where I just kind of take you behind the scenes and tell you about what's going on. This week, I think we got a thing with Small Band Saturday, so that's going to be fun, just kind of how everything's kind of evolved since we put out an ad for it. Excuse me. Man, don't drink soda right before doing a podcast, guys, because you're going to get the burps. It's going to be bad. But then we also do Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, where that's just a great chance for an hour for you guys to come ask me questions. I'll answer them and I'll have a good time. Also, we have an Alexa skill. I have to be quiet because she's in the room and she'll hear. And that's where we run all the music off of. So if you want to listen to music, that's where you need to be on. Again, don't drink soda before a podcast, guys, or anything with carbonation. It's going to kill you. And I feel like I got to just mention that because I think it's fun. But that's where we run all the music off of. And it's a great way to get your day going if you have it. So activate the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to today Alexa skill. Shh, I haven't woken her up yet. This is good. So what'll happen is you just say, hey, Alexa. Oh, shit, she turned on. Alexa, stop. Okay, she turned off. And they say, play my song of the day. And then she'll, load it, say, play in your song of the day. And you'll get a 5-second intro from yours truly. And then you'll get right on into it. And you'll be able to, fall in love with bands you used to love. Fall in love with new bands. Learn about new music. And for Small Band Saturday, find small bands that you guys might not know about and listen to them. It's a great way to get it going, great way to start your day, get through the middle of your day, end your day, whatever it is. A new song every single day. My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 today. Alrighty, so I've got a good one for you guys today. When I said I had a guest, I did have a guest. I am straight up on that. I have a guest. Have any of you ever heard of the band Kingdom Collapse? No? Well, I hope you did. Because, well, that's who we have on today. Jonathan Norris, he's the lead singer of the band. I will be giving him a call very soon. But a little bit background about Kingdom Collapse. We actually were connected with the band via one of our friends. You guys know her as Kathy. She's the one who actually connected us with Ascending from Ashes, which is insanely cool. So now this is the second band that she has connected us with. And I gotta tell you, I listen to their music, and these guys have what it takes. Trust me. They're growing. You could easily see them on tour sometime soon, and I really hope they are on tour sometime soon, because I hope they come to Milwaukee so I can actually, see them live and talk to John. So, Let's give him a call, shall we? Well, actually, I gotta type in the number. Let's see. Hopefully, this is the right number. And wait for it. Wait for it. Am I giving him the call? We calling him? Yay! We're calling him. Hopefully, they pick up. Otherwise, it's gonna be real embarrassing.
Hello.
Hey, is this John?
Yes, this is him. And then I got Robert, our guitarist, here too.
Hell yeah! What's up, guys? If you guys haven't, it's going all right. If you guys haven't figured it out, it's Kevin from the My Song a Day Rock 2000 Day Project with the Chord Progression Podcast. So glad you guys are on the show. Glad you guys are here. John, Robert, happy to have you guys.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty, so actually, I wanted to give a quick shout out with you guys on here to Kathy because she's the one that connected us with you guys, and she said, "Oh, make sure you say hi for me to them when you give them a call." So Kathy says hi.
Hell yeah! Hey, Kathy.
Alrighty, so let's start this out because there might not be a lot of people in our fan base that really know who you guys are. So give us the quick rundown. Who are you guys? Where are you from? What kind of music do you play? Just give it to me straight.
So we are Kingdom Collapse from San Antonio, Texas. I'm Jonathan. I sing and play some guitar. Robert.
I play guitar in Kingdom Collapse. From San Antonio, Texas. We just play music and want to play more music and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Blake's not with us, but Blake's our bassist, and right now we just have a live drummer, so that changes from time to time.
What do you mean by a live drummer? Just a guy that comes down on a rotating basis?
We just don't have a permanent member as far as a drummer yet. We're looking for the right fit. So.
Well, shit, I wish I was still playing drums at this point because then I might be like, hey, give me a shot, but I haven't played drums in, 10 years, so I don't think I'd be that good of a fit, but that's my pitch to you guys.
Hell yeah.
All right, but also I want to give you guys a big congratulations because I saw that your music video for Suffer hit 1 million views on YouTube.
Yes. Man, that was something we never really planned for. It really just kind of took off, and we're like, hey, let's, this is an opportunity, so let's capitalize on this and really get things going. And from that, we've been able to really get a decent following around the world, at least online, and streams and views and people wanting more of our music. So that's going to turn into more tour dates and stuff like that. So
yeah, I was
good.
I've been seeing that a lot too because I was taking a look at some of your stuff, looking at your Spotify page right now, your monthly listener count. You're so close to 10,000 monthly listeners, guys.
Yeah,
you're so close.
And it's actually, when we had Suffer picking up steam, and then we came out with Bring Me Down, it peaked at around 19,000 monthly listeners. But yeah, right now it's staying around a constant almost 10,000, which is good.
If you can keep that consistent 10,000, then you're going to get a lot of returners because you're going to get a lot of people that are like, okay, we've heard their music once and we really like it and we're going to keep listening to it. So you're going to want to, of course, give a lot of love to those people. But then there's going to be a portion of it that's like, hey, we just realized that about this band. We just found out about them, so we're going to give them a listen. Or maybe you were at a show and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're listening to this band live and now we want to check them out. That's happened to me a good amount of times.
Right, exactly. I think it's a high enough number where there's always going to be at least a resting, like even on a bad day, it's going to be decent, and as long as we keep releasing new music and keeping that momentum going, I don't see it going down.
Neither do I at this point because pretty much the whole entire day today just preparing for this just to make sure I had everything down. I was sitting at my desk job at my full-time job because how else can I pay for something like this just to make sure until I get enough money to actually supplement everything off of this.
Right,
and
exactly.
So I'm sitting there at my desk. I'm just like, well, I got to listen to all this stuff. And I was listening. I'm just like, wow, how have I not heard this before? Thank you, Kathy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Kathy's been been a real big support with us, online promoting and sharing, and she's from Texas as well. So that's really cool, to have that kind of support. There's, so many people that I can't even name, but it's really cool to see that.
And I know she also said, I believe she was giving your guys your War Inside EP to John Moyer of Disturbed when she goes to see them in, I think, end of July in Spokane.
Oh yeah. She was telling us, and that's pretty badass. So we'll see what comes of that.
It seems like kind of like whenever I talk to Kathy, there's always some sort of connection with every band that she sends me. There's always some sort of connection with John Moyer one way or another.
Yeah. Kathy's a huge Disturbed fan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I actually I got to see the only time I ever seen Disturbed live. I actually saw them with Kathy on a whim because their last stop in the U.S. tour before they went overseas for a while was in Chicago. And
yeah.
I already had tickets for it, but then she somehow got tickets for it, came up to Chicago, and then in between 3 Days Grace's set and Disturbed set, I was trying to find her, and all of a sudden she's right on the rails, stage left, and I end up seeing the whole entire show with her, and it was just awesome. I'll put it that way. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And now it's just
yeah.
She'll send me all these other bands, like, hey, check this band out that I know about. Check this band out that I know about, and you guys are the second one we've had on this podcast, all because of her. So I can't thank her enough, honestly.
Hell yeah.
All right,
yeah, us too.
Yeah, I'll say, but back to you guys, because just want to get a little bit more of a background on you guys. So as you guys were growing up, what kind of led you into forming this band and wanting to produce or play music, create music, and show what you got to the world? What was that kind of journey like?
Man, so I guess, for all of us, it's a little bit different. Mine was kind of funny. Like, the whole reason I ever started playing guitar was because I saw School of Rock, and I was like, I want to do that. Because I was like about that age. I was like 9 or 10 years old. So that's when I started playing, and it was like me and a couple friends that were like, oh, let's do this. Okay, you're going to play guitar, you're going to play drums, you're going to play bass. Like, what? Like, none of them stuck with it, but here we are. And Robert, I don't know.
So I've always been, into music, big into music, and picked up guitar from my cousin. He had some cheap guitar over there, and he was playing like Smoke on the Water or something, like really simple riff, and then I picked it up. I couldn't play that, but whatever. So then went home, I wanted a guitar, and then eventually got one, and I just wanted to, I thought it was cool seeing all these big bands, live. It's like they made this music, and then I wanted to make music too. And then, of course, with that comes, wanting to perform the music. And it's just been growing up seeing those big bands. Like, that's what I want to do, is play music and just tour the world. And
so what big bands were you going to see during this time? Just because with John talking about how School of Rock got him in there and he was around that age. I think when School of Rock came out, I was maybe like a year or two younger than the kids that were in the movie. So I was like right around that age too, it's kind of freaky, but I'm always interested to see like what kind, like when you guys were, really starting to get going on this, what kind of concerts were you going to? What bands were you really seeing?
So when I was younger, funny enough, it was actually a lot of country bands, and then I eventually got into rock, and then I'd go to Warped Tour and just more local shows. We had a venue here in San Antonio that these bands would pass through. We'd just go and hang out there and see different bands, and it's just fun to see different people do different things. All the different influences when it comes to music, and everybody has kind of the same passion for it. John?
Yeah, it was the School of Rock stuff, and then that was back when like Creed was really big. So honestly, I was, my older brother was really into Creed, and like he was like, oh, like check this out, and I was little, and I just started playing guitar, so it was like I thought it was the best thing in the world, and honestly, to this day, I still love Mark Tremonti's like guitar writing and like just songwriting, and I don't know, like contrary to popular belief, like I actually like Creed. You know.
I mean, well, again, in the '90s, like late '90s, early 2000s, Creed was an absolutely huge deal, and then of course, parts that broke off, and then kind of out of Creed we got Alter Bridge, and then out of Alter Bridge we got the Tremonti Project, to
Yeah.
which
Yeah. Exactly.
I actually was really lucky enough because I think it was October of last year. My buddy and I got free tickets to see 10 Years headline a show at the concert hall close to us called The Rave, and Tremonti was actually opening up for him, so we're like, oh, we'll go check out Tremonti, and well, Tremonti stole the show, I'll just put it that way.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, he's definitely, I guess, seen it from the top, and kind of, I feel like Tremonti almost started over. Like, you know, you become like an opening act when they were headlining like the 2002 like Winter Olympics, you know, and going from that to being an opener is kind of, I bet it's crazy.
Yeah, but I'll put it this way. In my opinion, I think that the music has definitely matured on their end and has actually, I think, in my opinion, is better. Just because I never really was a Creed fan. I kind of got an Alter Bridge a little bit, not too much. But when I heard Tremonti, it was just, there was something about it. There's something just a little bit different about it. A little bit harder in a sense at times, which I really like, such as, I think, what was it? One of their latest songs, "Take You With Me." I remember started listening. I'm just like, okay, I'm in. I'm hooked. Done.
Yeah, it was different. Like a lot of their stuff is like riffier, but then that one almost kind of has like a Foo Fighters feel.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
The riffs, I mean, the chords and stuff, like it kind of has that feel.
Kind of like a Monkey Wrench vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was actually going to say, funny enough that you were bringing up that you were going to see Creed and that you enjoyed Creed, because when I was listening to your music, I was trying to figure out where maybe some of the influences were coming in and kind of figure out, you know, kind of where might you be taking an influence from. And one of the bands I landed, I think the first band I landed on, oddly enough, was Alter Bridge.
Wow. What which song reminded you of that?
I'll see. I believe it was This Agony. That was the one that kind of stuck out in my mind right away. Along with Bring Me Down, it kind of had a little bit of that vibe too. I'm just like, these guys kind of have like an Alter Bridge vibe to them, and I'm rather enjoying it. So I wanted to ask to see if you guys had that kind of an influence on there.
Oh, yeah,
however,
definitely.
when you brought up Creed, I thought, this is insane.
Well, yeah. Mark Tremonti like is definitely my favorite guitarist, and so like I'll listen to every band that, you know, any project that he's in. So you definitely hear that maybe on the music end a little bit.
Yeah. Is there any other bands that you really kind of take influence from when creating music?
Oh man, like, so for me, like I like a lot of just like the rock, like when we were younger, and a lot of like, me and Robert were in a metalcore band, so it was more like a Kill Switch kind of thing, and we have a lot of influence from like, say, some of that stuff, Kill Switch or All That Remains, but then you have like the straightforward rock songs, like, you know, like Stain, Creed, you know, that kind of stuff, Crossfade, but then also kind of that middle ground, a little bit heavier, like a lot of Seven Dust, a lot of stuff like that too.
Sam, I'm gonna ask this question to Robert now. When it comes to your guitar and you're playing on the record, do you take any influence from any other bands or any certain guitarists?
Big influenced off of Avenged Sevenfold.
Yes.
Yeah. Trivium, bunch of big bands. But definitely Avenged Sevenfold most influence from.
See, I'm actually a little surprised to hear that, because I wasn't necessarily going to land on, when it came to the style that I was hearing in your guys' stuff, I wasn't really landing on Avenged Sevenfold. So I'm actually kind of interested to see that's kind of where you're taking your inspiration from. I'm not saying that, you know, it's not on there. It's just I wasn't necessarily hearing it as much as I was hearing other influences, like the Alter Bridge influence.
Yeah, I think the most you'll get out of them is probably Warren's side, is where it'll come from.
Yeah, now that you mention it, when I was listening to, there was one that I was like, there was a little bit different than what I was hearing normally from the first from the first couple I was hearing, and War Inside was the different one. So now I can definitely tell where that Avenged Sevenfold influence could come in.
Yeah, big influences. But when it comes to writing, we try to really just make it our own. Obviously you'll always have influences in there, but really trying to put our own sound out there, put our own emotions, like just everything. We wanted to make it us instead of you hear this and like, oh, it's a Tremonti knockoff or whatever, but it's not. It's the influence is there, but it's us. It's our mind putting it to paper there.
Oh, very much so. I understand that. The only reason why I was kind of bringing up the influences is because if there's any, for the people listening that really aren't aware of your music, when it comes to, okay, what does their music really kind of have an influence of, kind of giving them a general idea of, if you like this band, then you're going to like Kingdom Collapse.
Right.
So that's kind of where I was going off with that. And then the other kind of influence I've heard in there, and I kind of want to ask John on this one, because I was listening to your vocals, kind of the vocal pattern and kind of how it was being played out. There was one name that kept coming to mind. I'm like, this is, again, this kind of, I think it might have a slight influence there, but I'm not entirely sure, so I want to get your take on it. A lot of the times I thought the vocal pattern kind of sounded something like it was a little bit influenced by what Adam Gontier did when he was with 3 Days Grace.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think 3 Days Grace, like during that period, had a lot of huge songs. And it's hard to like, I really like all of that kind of stuff when it comes to rock. And then obviously I liked a lot of the heavier stuff too, but it's hard to not respect artists like that. Like you have a bunch from Stained, like hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's like the same way with 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, and I think with the stuff that I've heard from you guys, you very much have a potential to create something like that. Hopefully, once the mass audience is actually say like, hey, we got to listen to this, and then all of a sudden, boom! Next thing you know, you're headlining.
Once the world,
you're on a headlining tour, just going around, and then next thing I notice, all of a sudden I get a notification from the rave saying, hey, Kingdom Collapse is headlining a show here. I'm like, well, shit, I'm buying a ticket to that.
Hell yeah, man! Like that's actually a huge compliment, because we do lean on the heavier side, but I think there's a part, it's really about having the song. So like taking inspiration off of these big artists that they know what they're doing, you know what I mean? So it's I guess kind of what we set our goal or set our standards is that high.
It definitely shows, too, because the music you guys are producing is high quality. I'm not going to skip on that. It is high quality.
Hell yeah. Yeah, really, there's always going to be, like, a certain sound that's real hot at the moment, or, like, in your local area and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I've never really cared about trying to just be, like, I guess the fad or trend sound. Kind of what was going around. It's like, I just want to write really good songs that basically transcend any generation. You can start playing it, and it's like, it doesn't feel like that train has already gone away. You know what I mean? You've already missed the train on that sound. Like, it kind of just transcends time periods.
Yeah, I totally understand what you guys are saying on that one, due to the fact that since, I've really been into music, there have been different styles that have really kind of been hot at one point, but then went away, and then just kind of, when it comes to the masses, they're kind of left in the dust, or now that when they tour again, there's people that go out there, but it's more for the nostalgic purposes. What you guys are trying to do is create songs that are going to be popular now, but then also because of the substance behind them and the greatness of the writing content are going to be hits 20 years down the line.
Right. Exactly. Because it's kind of written outside of the trendy, whatever was going, so just write a good song. Let's not worry about trying to make it, fit completely into this thing. Let's just write what we write.
Yeah. And
let's write good quality. Let's write good songs. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you have a good song, like, it doesn't matter what genre it fits in, it's going to be noticed.
Yeah, and kind of just sticking to the style, not necessarily sticking to the style, but sticking to the song that you want to write too. Because
Yes.
over time, you might want to try something in like on a certain song. You might want to try something that's a little bit more in a different genre, experiment a little bit more. Which, of course, always okay to experiment because you never know that you might end up creating something absolutely fantastic out of it. There are a lot of bands that have
Right.
experimented that have done that as well, but you still always want to create a high quality song and a high quality album that you guys are going to be proud of no matter what, and that you put a lot of time and a lot of effort into.
Right, exactly. And I think when I was younger, like the writing approach I took was like, I need to make it fit. Like I would go in forcing the song, like I would try to drag the song with me, but now it's like I kind of let the song take me to where you just have to feel it out when you're writing, and like you let the song take you where it needs to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like rather than trying to force it a certain way, you came in like predetermined for, it might sound a little forced. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I definitely know what you mean on that end, because you can have songs where it's like you just said, the public will be able to tell if you're trying to force something on there. But if you let it come naturally and you follow your own songwriting style, due to the fact that, of course, every band's and every person's gonna have a different songwriting style. But if you stay true to what what is authentic to you, that authenticity and that high quality is gonna come out in your music. Which, from what I've heard, that's there 100%.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
So when it comes to actually writing music, like what's exactly your process? Because I know you just said, you just kind of let the song take it wherever it goes and kind of follow that along. But do you have a specific process for you guys are writing songs?
Oh, it's always different, depending on how each song kind of came about. But usually we'll demo it, really develop an idea, and then pitch it to the rest of the guys kind of after it's not too early in the process. It's like, okay, this idea has been developed and it, given a good shot. And if we think, it's something that fits up to the caliber of the other stuff, then we're like, hey, we'll share it with the rest of the guys. And then from there, it'll be obvious, like what tweaks we need to make. We need to add a fill here, blah, 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 change a word here, but for the most part, before anything, like you're just like, okay, yes, this could be a good song, but is it a great song? Like we really like to only release the stuff that we feel like, okay, this is great. Like, it's not like, okay, this passes, really setting the bar high. So we are pretty hard on ourselves with songs. We don't just release anything. So
I actually do really enjoy hearing that, because like, when I was thinking about that again, kind of equating to the writing styles that I've heard when it comes to the high quality of music of writing styles that people have, when it comes to really making sure that everything it works well and is genuine to you guys yourselves, that kind of reminds me of the writing style of what Rise Against would do. Because again, I absolutely love Rise Against, and they take so much time when it comes to writing their songs to make sure everything is perfectly articulated the way they want it to. And it's, from what you guys said, sounds like you guys do do it in your own way, but make sure that everything is perfectly done to the way you guys want to have it done.
Yeah. And really, like when it comes to all of that, we do all the writing and recording in-house, and we don't really have a producer, recording engineer. Like we basically don't spend a single dollar, paying someone else to do our recordings for us. Like we're fully like self-sufficient in that area.
So you're fully recording, producing, and mastering all these tracks?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Holy shit, how are these guys not more popular than they already are? You kidding me? This is insane. Because I never would have guessed that. I absolutely never would have guessed that.
Yeah, man. That's, I think, a strong point that we know we have is what we place importance on and priority is the music first. A lot of bands just kind of jump the gun. They're like, oh, I just want to play all these shows. I want to force a tour. I want to I just want to try to be something before they really built a solid foundation with good songs. Because what is a band? What is a group of musicians making music if the music isn't good? You know what I mean? That's it right there.
It's just a bunch of people playing instruments. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and they're all fooling themselves. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie about this, guys. You guys are giving me serious flashbacks to because I listen to this when it comes to just all the business stuff I do. This one guy I listen to religiously. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk, and when it comes to this, it's like what you guys were just talking about. There's a lot of people that want to I want to go on tour. I want to play all these shows. I want to do all this. And they kind of sometimes don't necessarily have all the substance there, so it's kind of like that faking it till you make it in a way, in a sense, where you guys are have created your base. You guys know what you're about. You guys know where you're going with everything, and by the time something hits like Suffer hitting 1 million views on YouTube, and hopefully by next month 20,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. You just start gaining that traction, and that substance is always going to be there. So that greatness is already there.
Right. It's getting recognized, like without, there's no label, there's no help, and, there's no marketing budget. There's no really anything, just us, doing the best we can within our means, So I have no doubt that, if we're making waves like this now, independent, with not a single freaking dollar, I think we could do it with thousands thrown at us from, a label, really making sure that it happens. If we can do this, we can do it with help.
Oh, very much so. I'm actually surprised no label has picked you up at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just the right label hasn't seen us yet.
Well, I mean, 1 million views on YouTube for one of your music videos, Kathy giving your CD to John Moyer, and just increased awareness. Someone's gonna pick you guys up somewhere. I don't know when. It'll probably be soon though.
Oh yeah, and then we actually are leaving town for a bunch of summer tour dates. Actually, this Friday. So we're playing. We're from Texas. We're going over to Mississippi Saturday. Then we come back for a headlining show in San Antonio the next week. Then we play with Power Man 5000 in Austin the week after that.
Wait, no way, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I haven't heard Power Man 5000 in, I haven't listened to him in like a couple of years since, whenever they came out the album that had How to Be Human on it, that was the last time I really listened to him. I think that was like 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's insane. That's insane.
Hell yeah, dude. It's crazy, man. It's I don't know, we saw that, and then our manager was like, hey, y'all want to play this one? And we're like, yeah, let's do it.
That'll definitely get you some exposure, because there's going to be a lot of Power Man 5000 fans that haven't really seen him in a while. It's like, oh man, we got to go check these guys out because they're there, and then you're opening for them, and all of a sudden you're going to have a couple thousand people there. I don't know how big the venue is, but you should have a couple thousand people there watching and be like, okay, we got to check these guys out a lot more than we did beforehand.
Yeah. And, I think that crowd would definitely dig it.
I think so too. What else does the summer tour hold for you guys?
Well, we have that, and then in August we have our first festival date actually ever. It's in Indiana, Madison, Indiana. And it's August 10th at CADFest. So, we're going up there, and then I think the next day we're playing in Alabama. So, those are the dates we have confirmed, and then we're looking at some stuff in Oklahoma, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Florida. And so those are all in the works right now.
With that show in Indiana, is that your guys' first time really coming towards the Midwest and kind of coming out of that southeastern region?
Oh yeah, completely. Friday will be the first time out of state.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Texas is a whole country of itself. But so you could drive for a day and still not be out of Texas. So we've really made use of Texas during the last year and a half. Because the distance from, say, San Antonio to Dallas is like 5 hours, and then from Dallas to Houston, I want to say is like probably 6 hours, 6, 7. So we've just been making loops from San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin, and between those 4 cities, you cover a lot.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of ground to cover. I mean, you're covering a good amount of ground that would be, if you were lived in the northeastern part of the country, you'd cover 5 states within that amount of ground.
Right, exactly. And so, really up until this point, but now there's been a demand that's been growing from Suffer and Bring Me Down getting out online. We're getting these people, hey, come this way, come that way, and it's like, okay, we kind of weigh the pros and cons and look at it and be like, okay, this is a good area where we're having a lot of good feedback from, so let's try to make it happen.
Couple of things I've seen from just some of the areas you're going to. When it comes to Florida, I've seen that they've got actually a rather good metalcore scene down there, especially around Tampa Bay, which if you guys are going to Tampa, that pretty much fits the bill right there.
Right, exactly. And then, yeah, it's like what, A Day to Remember, Under Oath, a lot of bands from that area.
Yeah, so you definitely have some substance there. But then the one I'm actually most curious about is when you guys are going to be coming up to Indiana for that festival you guys are playing. Due to the fact that one thing, because when I talked with the other band, Ascending to Ashes, that Kathy had on, because they're from New Jersey, they're asking like, oh, what's a good scene to really kind of get your rock music out there? I said, if you're going to travel anywhere, try the Midwest, because there's just a huge rock scene that isn't necessarily as shown, because again, it's when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, what are you looking at? Oh, you're still looking at a lot of country artists that are coming around playing stadium shows, or you're seeing a lot of pop artists coming around. But when you really look at it, there's a lot of different festivals going on in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, specifically Chicago, up here in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan. There's just a whole bunch going on at any given time during the summer.
Yeah, and that's what we've been finding is like, yeah, that area is like, really, really demanding us right now. And that's what these dates come from, is let's try to get out here and meet these people.
I'll say if one area that you could really gain a lot of attention from is you can get something kind of around that Chicago area, because if you get like a headlining gig or like a opening gig for somebody that will draw could draw a big crowd. I'm any kind of band that could draw a big crowd kind of in that scene. If they're only gonna do Chicago and not do Chicago, Milwaukee, or just do Milwaukee, not Chicago, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a lot of people coming from the other city coming down that want to see the show, because it's only an hour and a half away.
Well, what's crazy is Chicago's our biggest streamed city.
Really?
On Spotify, yeah. So you're definitely right.
Woohoo! I'm right on something. Yes.
But yeah, man, Chicago, and you'd think San Antonio or our local area would be right behind, but man, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like you go where you're wanted. I mean, that's the reason of a tour. Where there's demand, you go and you play.
Yeah, and especially if the area where you're getting the most amount of streams is from the Chicago area, then if you guys can find a way to get there somehow, go there. Definitely go there.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And then if I see you guys going anywhere around the area, I'll be like, oh shit, they're coming to Chicago? Alrighty, we'll go find the tickets for that, and we'll go and buy one, because I'd love to see you guys play live. Yeah,
we actually just got in-ears and everything, so we're making a lot of bigger adjustments as far as our live performance and everything. So it's getting good.
So what's life been like doing this? Because you guys have been, performing for a while, been traveling specifically around Texas. What's life been like, and what are you guys really expecting life's going to be like over the summer when you're traveling to states in the Southeast and then traveling to Indiana?
It's definitely a busy summer. Definitely going to be sacrificing a lot more, but to say that's not worth it, it's like this is definitely something that is looking pretty promising and kind of proving to be like, hey, we need to pursue this. Like, this doesn't just happen. You don't just, as an unsigned band, you don't just get 1 million views and it's like, that's coming from something. And so it's really a big step that we're really trying to give a good shot at. So
that's just coming from high quality music, honestly.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we wanted to make sure we had the ground covered as far as that aspect before we wasted any time doing anything else. I think you have to have that foundation first.
Easily. I mean, if you don't have that foundation, you're not going to have anything to stand on. That's kind of the old adage of when you're building a house.
Yeah. And that's kind of our house. That's how we built it.
I'm going to be interested to hear this, but how are you guys hauling around all your equipment to all these different shows? Because you guys can't simply just, be throwing this and probably all this stuff in the back of a conversion van and then driving from city to city.
No, actually, it's funny you said that. Tomorrow, we're actually investing in a pretty big trailer that we're going to be actually putting AC in and like putting bunks in and living out of on some of these dates. It's not an everyday thing, but if it's a couple dates in a row, it's like it can actually be kind of fun.
That sounds like some straight up something like Skillet would do, because I've seen some of their stuff too. When they were smaller, they did the exact same thing. Like, they just built bunks and just toured everywhere, and they just were sleeping in the back of a trailer.
Yeah, man. I think that's kind of exactly how it's going to be. But we're excited for it. Just being able to do that and make it happen, logistic wise. Gas money, this and that, and expenses. You can. It's easy, I think, for musicians or some musicians to really not be very grounded or realistic in their expectations, and staying patient. So we like to think we've, paid our dues for a while, to really learn that stuff. So.
Yeah, but one thing you also can remember too is just to keep deploying patience, because you guys are gaining a good amount of success right now, but you're kind of at that tip of the iceberg point. Just be patient, because the rest of the iceberg is going to show itself.
Yeah, and that's what we're waiting on. A little more shows each month.
Now, I'm also curious about this too with with the festival you're playing in Indiana. What are some other big bands that are going to be playing at that show, due to the fact that you're going to have a chance to really connect with these bands on a different level than most other people are going to be able to?
Dude, honestly, yeah, there's a lot of these up and coming bands on that festival where that's really our scene. It's going to be a huge chance to network a bunch that we're excited for, and really meet a lot of these other bands.
And I'll put it this way, is there any band or any person specifically that both of you guys are looked at this festival like, oh my God, we got to meet these guys, or we got to meet these girls? Either or.
I think there's a lot we're excited to meet, just because a lot of us are related artists on Spotify, and it's okay, this is what kind of our mutual fans are listening to alongside us. So it's cool to kind of study and have the opportunity to meet them, and be like, hey, we're related artists on, Spotify or iTunes or blah, blah, blah.
Interesting, because you can easily form this gigantic family off of that, just with the very simple premonition of, hey, if you look at our Spotify, we're related artists. How about that?
Exactly. I think that's pretty cool,
And I'm pretty sure by the end of it, you guys are gonna have some absolutely insane stories that you're gonna have to tell, because when it comes to your first time going and traveling to a different state to perform, to performing consistent dates for like a course of the week, or going and playing at a whole music festival, you're gonna meet a lot of people. You're gonna end up with these crazy stories that are just gonna be absolutely insane.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's not, I guess, the normal kind of life, but I don't know. That's also what keeps it fresh.
Very true. Do you have any kind of like crazy stories from other concerts that you've performed at, or any crazy stories from like concerts you've attended? Because either or, I've heard both ends of the aisle of stories where it's like just the absolute insanity that's ensued.
I haven't seen anything too crazy at a show, honestly. I mean, like, I don't know if it all just seems normal or whatever, but like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything too dramatic or too insane yet. I mean, every show seems pretty normal.
Have you guys like attended shows back when you were like back when you were younger, or just now where you've had like some incredible or crazy thing happen to you guys?
Let's see. There's been some interesting sound guys, actually. That's pretty entertaining. They honestly, I think in the whole business, I think the most ego comes from a sound guy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm actually interested to see kind of like why is this? Because I've never heard something like this before.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've asked some people, and it's, I don't know if they don't like the job, or they just kind of come in grumpy. But it's like, okay, sorry, man.
They honestly might just need a hug and a shot of tequila.
Yeah. We'll try that next time.
You might honestly have to, because I mean there've been times where I've seen stuff at concerts where I've seen a kid lose his glasses in the middle of a mosh pit, and the whole mosh pit stops so he can find them, pop the lenses back in, and everyone bum rushes the guy.
Yeah, man, I've actually lost a pair of glasses in the crowd before. I think I was seeing POD, actually, in this big outdoor festival kind of thing, and glasses fell, and I don't have glasses anymore, but back when I did, yeah, they fell, instantly got trampled.
I think I might be honestly able to beat you at that, because this year I lost my shoes for about 10-15 minutes at a show. Yeah, I didn't have them tied very tight. I was seeing if I remember correctly, I was seeing Under Oath, and they started the pit right at the end of their set, and I jumped in. My shoes weren't tied tight. I got hit once, and they fell off. And I was trying to pick them up. I grabbed one, and I was trying to find where the other one went, and all of a sudden I just saw this shoe flying in the air out of nowhere. I'm like, and I lost my shoe. Then Under Oath goes off. A little while later, Skillet comes on, starts playing, and all of a sudden the mosh pit starts going again, and the guy next to me gets hit in the face with a flying shoe. And the guy doesn't get angry with it. He looks, he's like, "Hey man, I found your shoe."
That's insane.
So that's why I always tell people, it's like, oh yeah, we can't wait to mosh. I'm like, make sure your shoes are tied tight. I always tell people that now. I'm not losing shoes again. I'm not risking having my foot broken by someone, man. Just some big, burly guy who's just wrecking people in a mosh pit, stepping on my foot, and all of a sudden there's gonna be me just, yep, now I'm pretty much, hobbling around for 5 weeks.
That's funny, man. That's insane.
I got a couple other questions I really want to ask you guys, just to kind of again dive deeper into your music journey. For both of you guys, what was that like moment where you knew, or that aha moment where you knew that the Kingdom Collapse project, your band, was the way to go about life?
So for me, it was pretty much John had sent me the demo to Suffer, and we had a few other songs that we had been playing, and they were really good. Actually, I had already been thinking that at that point, but when he first sent Suffer, it was still the instrumental, and it had the idea of lyrics, but it wasn't fully there yet. And as soon as that intro riff came in, I was like, this is it. This is the one. And it pretty set it off for me there. And, you know, as it turns out, now we have 1 million views on it and we're still kicking.
It was definitely the right call when you heard Suffer, like, yep, that's the one. If that's the one that got 1 million views.
Yeah. And it's weird because, I mean, it doesn't even fit that whole radio format at all. It's almost 5.5 minutes long. You know, it's definitely not the 3 minutes, 30-second formula, but it's like, dude, at the end of the day, a good song is a good song, regardless of what kind of box you want to put it in.
You don't want to follow that 3 minute, 30-second formula because then you're going to end up putting yourself in a box. I mean, take a look at what Avenged Sevenfold has done because do they have any songs that are under 3.5 minutes? Or any other like big songs that are under 3.5 minutes? Most of them are 4 or 5.
Right.
That's another thing, you know, they never sacrifice time to, you know, essentially bow down to the radio to get plays. You know, they did what they did and, you know, it paid off for them.
And not only that, but just in the times we're living in right now in 2019 where anybody can go online and just quickly look up a song or look up a band they like. It's the people are going to still listen to the radio while driving their cars, but for a person like me, I've got my FM transmitter sitting in my little in the console of my car, so all of a sudden, like, I just turn to a certain radio station, I can listen to whatever the heck I feel like. So it doesn't matter if it's 3.5 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 2.5, it doesn't matter if it's 6 minutes long.
Right. And that's the thing is, you know, to an extent, it's, you know, smart to pay attention to kind of, you know, traits of big songs, but at some point, it's just you got to stay true to the song or to yourself.
Very, very much understandable. You gotta stick true to yourself because again, if you're gonna create a song and you feel like it's great at 5 minutes, then that's what's great. You don't want to cut anything out of there. You don't want to, you know, leave anything hanging because you might create something all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, oh, we want to cut it down to 3.5, and the song might just not flow nearly as well as it did with another 1.5 minutes on it.
Right. Exactly.
Also, because you guys have been around for how long now? I believe it's 2.5 years ish.
Well, yeah. So originally, the name Kingdom Collapse, like, was very short-lived. Me and Robert were in, I guess, an old formation of the band. Kind of fell through, and then years later, this was, I guess, late 2016, early 2017. It was like, basically, I started writing, but I didn't have a project, you know, for the material I was writing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to revive Kingdom Collapse. Like, let's get that going again. I hit up Robert immediately, and it was just us two, and then we began kind of scouting out, hey, let's look for a bassist. Let's look for a drummer, and really built the thing back up. So that's maybe about 2 years.
I'll say at this point, if that was like late 2016, early 2017, especially because we're about halfway through 2019, I think you're at like a little bit, maybe over 2, close to 2.5.
Right.
So with that amount of time and with the fact that you guys have bounced around Texas and are now going out and doing shows over the summer in different states, have you guys formed connections with any other bands as you've gone along? Any other, you know, maybe bands that have hit it big or bands that are, you know, at the same point as you guys are and are rising up?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bands, even in Texas, that we've gotten to know really well and really end up being a very supportive, like, really good friendship.
Can you name some of those bands, for example, just so people listening can check those guys out?
Oh, yeah. There's a band out of Houston called Hindsight. We actually just played with this last weekend. They're really good. I think they played the Rocklahoma recently. And, yeah, they've been around a bit, and their music is really good.
All right, so for everybody else listening, check out Hindsight as well.
Oh, yeah. And then we got... Who else do we have? in Corpus, there's a band called Rendered Heartless. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're actually really the drummer ended up being really good friends, and we're always like, hey, how are y'all doing, blah blah blah. And we finally got a show booked for later this year where we're coming down to Corpus to play with them. So that's Rendered Heartless from Corpus.
All right, I just pulled them up quickly on Spotify so I kind of see kind of what they're working with right now.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I'm not going to play their stuff on the podcast due to the fact that just because I don't have the licensing for them, I probably will end up getting the podcasting down at that point. So I'll have to listen to them right after I'm done recording all this stuff and take a see what I think of them.
Yeah, definitely both Rendered Heartless and Hindsight solid bands.
Perfect. I can't wait to listen to both of these bands.
Hell yeah.
And also kind of now that you guys have this summer tour coming up and you guys are gaining some success, gaining some notoriety, gaining some traction, what are your future plans looking like when it comes to, say, after the summer of 2019? Or what do you guys want to accomplish by, let's say, this time in 2020?
Now that there's finally a demand to start hitting some of these tour dates and tour stops, at least in the country, that's really a big, bite to chew. So I think really that's the next thing we're biting off and we're attacking is the touring side of things. I think we've built a solid foundation with music. We have a following online that found us. That translated into a demand in person to see us play. And now we're doing that.
So again, kind of what are you hoping for summer 2020? You're hoping to go on a full-on tour? You're hoping to have enough of a following where you're going to be an opener on a band, like on a huge band's tour throughout the States? Kind of, what are you thinking about on that end?
We're open to really anything that happens, but really trying to further, I guess, our following on each of these dates and grow that, but also, keep making sure we're getting on bigger tours and working our, just really getting our name out there. At the bottom line, that's what it is. It's shown that on a small scale already, it'll be successful. So it's like you multiply that times tenfold the amount of reach, it's bound to do well.
Oh, easily. And that's why I'm hoping by the time, summer 2020 comes, I'm looking at something for some festival around here in Milwaukee or some festival in Wisconsin or something in Chicago or just some band coming through that I really want to go see. And all of a sudden I see you guys as a opener on there. And I'm just like, oh, they did it! They did it!
Yeah. And that's actually, that's a good point. I think it's cool when you have a team that, it's like, whether it was so-and-so at this station or blah, 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 that, played us and blah, blah, blah. It's like when that success finally comes, it's like you get to share that,
Oh yeah, easily. You get this feeling of accomplishment, and the only thing you want to do is share that with everybody else.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly, I really hope you guys end up getting a chance to come up to, more the upper Midwest next year, because I gotta see you guys play live. I have to. There's no reservation, no exceptions. I gotta see you guys play live.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely gonna get up to that area. Probably, if it's not by the end of this year, probably by late winter, early spring, first couple months of next year.
Yeah, because usually during those months, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the club shows are just, there's always something going on, especially in Chicago, like with the Aragon Ballroom, or up here in Milwaukee at the Rave, or I'm trying to think of some other places. In Madison, Wisconsin, they've also got a couple of good spots. One's called the Majestic. I've heard about it where it's, people have said it's a good spot to go to a concert. And then they just built a concert hall called the Sylvie, where I saw Atreyu and Motionless in White in April, and it's a little bit of a smaller venue, but it is built perfectly for a rock show.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think like if you guys had a chance to go maybe play there, if you guys like I'm just giving you guys some suggestions for around the area where people would come to, because even for if you go to Madison as well, that's about an hour 10 minutes west of Milwaukee. You still get a lot of Chicago people coming up there because it's just a straight shot up I-90.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, man.
Just trying to give you guys some ideas, just trying to, maybe help you guys out, give you guys some suggestions. Again, you can take with them as you will, but I really want to see you guys up here, man.
Dude, yeah. I mean, we're itching to really get out everywhere. So we're right there with you.
So, because I'm getting jacked up for this. I'm getting real excited.
Hell yeah. Yeah. We're excited. I mean, like I said, the first out-of-state show is this weekend, so we're gearing up for that. I'm excited for all these dates.
Are you guys nervous at all to play your first show out of state, or is it just something that's going to be, we've done this before due to the fact that you guys are from Texas and traveling long distances to play shows is nothing different?
Yeah, it's essentially already been done. It's just that, you cross that border and it's like, oh, we're in another state. But we've definitely already traveled. And the thing is with that, we're definitely not nervous because we actually just came off a great show this last weekend. Feeling good, and it's, I think, a good way to start this month, with a lot of out-of-town dates. So
always a good time to start out where you're from with a great show, because then that energy can just carry you forward.
Exactly. We're
and
not starting in the hole, definitely on, with a positive mindset. So
yeah, and that's not just with that's just not with just music. I mean, that can go for pretty much anything in life as well, where you start out strong and you can take and ride that momentum through and through.
Right.
And then also pick up on certain things along the way.
Yep. Yeah, it's all just a big journey.
But a journey that's well worth it, because if this is what you guys are doing in life and this is what truly makes you happy, then you guys are absolutely killing it.
Dude, hell yeah. It's definitely something we didn't expect. But definitely in a good way. You know what I mean? It was a pleasant surprise.
I'll say now you just got to keep working even harder just to make sure that you get to the next level, and then level beyond that, and then who knows, you very well could be headlining your own show to play in front of 1,000, 2,000 people within the course of 2-3 years.
Right, exactly.
And then in 4 or 5, playing in front of 10,000.
Yeah, and it's been shown that it's growing. As long as we don't quit, it'll keep growing.
I mean, you guys could even potentially you guys have the potential to even go overseas and play at something like Rock am Ring in Germany.
Oh yeah, we've already sent out several merch orders to Germany. There's a lot of people in Germany and all throughout Europe that dig our sound. I think it is a sound that I think just European rock fans like.
Yeah, because if you just take a look at the bands that are playing at those shows, it's especially like Rock am Ring, Rock and Park, they're really into that sound, that that hard rock, that hard rock, heavy metal, punk rock, anything with rock in there. Because I've looked at the bands that have been on those lists, and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me! Why can't I get a whole band? Why can't I get a whole festival like this here?
For real, man.
Like, I'd love to have a festival where all of a sudden it's like, okay, now it's like we got Slipknot and Disturbed and like I Prevail, The Fever 333, Rise Against, I mean, I could go on and on with bands. It's just like all this hodgepodge of bands are just playing for 3 days, and every single one of them has this killer sound to them.
Right. Yeah.
But unfortunately, if I want to do that, I've got to go to Germany, and well, hopefully by the time, if I actually do get a chance to do that, by the time I get out there, hopefully 3-4 years, all of a sudden it's like, okay, who's playing now? Kingdom Collapse?
Yeah. Yeah,
They made it to
man.
Germany? Yeah.
I mean, that's a goal. I don't think we're gonna stop until we accomplish anything like that. So we're gonna keep going and going and going and going. You know, why quit? So we can work in a cubicle or whatever, sweat our ass off in a shop when we can play music and make something happen with this. We're gonna fucking do it.
If that's what makes you happy, which from what I can tell, it easily does, then that's the way you got to go about life. You got to just keep making great music, and people are loving it right now. And give it time. There's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to love this music.
Yeah, I believe so, man. It's, if you have the opportunity to, most people don't get that opportunity. And why would you pass that up? It's a no-brainer.
No, you got to take it no matter what. And a little quirky question for you guys, just because kind of given the time that it's around, it being, around Father's Day weekend, are any of you guys dads at all, or?
No, we're all, no, none of us are married or anything. Just, we're all in our 20s basically. So, yeah, so.
I just felt like I had to ask, just with being, that Father's Day weekend area, Father's Day spirit. And I mean, so then have your guys' dads come out to the shows and been fully supportive of it, or?
Yeah,
well, I hope they have been.
Our very first show and everything. Robert's parents were out. My parents were out. I think everyone was there to support. It was a big deal. Everyone's families know that it's a big deal.
And they got to be prouder than all hell with you guys, because just taking life by, just grabbing life by the balls and just going full force at it with what you love, and it's starting to pay dividends. And
yeah.
Before you know it, I mean, those dividends are just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing to the point where, I mean, we've talked about it a lot already, where we can see where your future is going. But then again, it's also up to you guys to make it there.
To keep it going. Yep, exactly.
And if you guys just keep on the path that you have been, and just, maybe and up the intensity of, making sure that, playing all these shows in different states, getting more exposure for yourself, continuing to make great music, you guys are easily on that path.
Right. It's going to be good.
It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait for you guys to make it up here to play a show, because I'll try and be in the front row. Otherwise, if there's a mosh pit going, I'll probably be in there. So if you see a shoe flying up in the air, that's probably someone threw that up there, but it's probably my shoe.
Hell yeah, man. We'll know how to get it back to you then.
Or you'll just know how to identify, okay, who was the guy that we talked to on the Chord Progression podcast? You start looking at people in the crowd. All right, we see a guy with one shoe on. Yep, that's him.
Yep, that's exactly it. Man.
So, or, there might be some other way, to to figure it out if I'm, for some reason tie my shoes tight.
For real, dude.
Yeah, all right, well, I've been talking to you guys for about an hour right now. You guys got anything more you want to talk about or say, or just because I don't want to take up too much of your time?
Oh, no, I think that covered everything. Just really, really grateful, to have us on here and talk a little bit about everything that's going on, and just looking forward to keep pushing this thing.
Well, hopefully we can help you get that a little bit more of a push with Kevin, you guys on the podcast, and of course, once the podcast comes out, I'll always have an ad for it, just so that people can, all of a sudden check out, hey, who's this band? We got to check them out, and I'll link everything in the podcast description, put all your guys' stuff in there, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff, so that people can easily check you out on any platform, as well as just kind of getting you guys some more exposure. And then I have the dates set. I don't have it in my mind right now, but I know on a Friday, because I know we'll get a good amount of traction on a Friday, I have you guys set up with a feature of it for a song of the day choice and to play one of your songs on our Alexa skill.
Awesome.
So I got that all set up, all ready to go, and just gonna take, because I end up picking some of these a little bit in advance just to make sure, just in case I miss something or if I have to tweak some things. But I know I got you guys picked for a Friday in July, so yeah.
Awesome. That sounds good, man.
Alrighty, well, I want to give you guys a huge thank you for coming on the podcast as well. It means a whole lot to me. Another shout out to Kathy once again for kind of helping get this connection going and get this set up a little bit. So thank you, Kathy, because I know she listens to this all the time.
Yeah.
And guys, keep making killer music, keep working hard, and I'll put it this way. By spring of 2020, I hope I get to see you guys play live up here in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah, we're going to make it happen, dude.
Oh, I know you guys are going to make it happen. I just have to keep saying I hope you guys make it happen to make sure, just to keep the ball rolling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely hit you up when we get something close to that area, so.
Yeah, if it's something within like the Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin area, heck, maybe even Minneapolis as well, because I went to school up there and I've got friends that still live up there. So just if once you guys get something set up, just shoot me a message, let me know, and I'll do my best to make sure I'm at that show.
Sounds good, man.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you both for being on. I appreciate it immensely, and you guys just have a great day and have a great summer and kick ass on this summer tour that you guys got going.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you guys. Take care.
You too. Yeah.
Alrighty, holy shit, Kingdom Collapse is fucking awesome! This is a band that I know I've said enough on the podcast already, but I hope to God, I really do, that these guys make it big, because they've got a great sound. So, if you want to check out all their stuff, Kingdom Collapse on Spotify, they got everything on there. I've seen them on, iTunes. I know iTunes is going away now because that's what they said, or Apple said, yeah, we're getting rid of iTunes. But, of course, you're going to be able to find their stuff on anything that Apple does with Apple Music. You can find their stuff on YouTube because their single, or was that their single from 2017, 2016? Man, Suffer. Hit 1 million views on YouTube, guys. You got to go check it out for sure. And again, I'll have links to all their stuff in the podcast description. You guys will be able to find it out. You guys will be able to go listen to them. This is a band that easily can hit it big. But it's all up to them to do it, and I know they've got the ambition to do it, so I'm dead set that they're going to do it. I cannot wait to see them come to the Upper Midwest sometime in spring 2020. Well, another great conversation, another big thank you to Kathy as well, due to the fact that this is the second band that Kathy has set up with us. And man, I'm just excited because this is fantastic. I love doing this, guys. I am absolutely in love, enthralled, whatever you want to call it. I'm so happy I get to do this. I'm so happy I get to present this stuff to you guys, get you guys to know some of the bands that are up and coming, like we did with the Saint Ashes, and now Kingdom Collapse. These guys are going to be huge. Trust me on this. They've got killer music. Alrighty, well, I want to say again, thank you all for listening. Thank you to Kingdom Collapse for coming on the podcast, talking with us. We had one hell of a conversation. Yeah, I hope to have him on again, maybe next year at some point, so we can kind of check in on him. And now that's my horrible, man, I'm just, got some high-pitched voice going on. Whatever that may be. Alrighty, well, again, thank you for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day. I'm always happy to have you guys listening to this because I hope I'm bringing you guys an immense amount of value. That's all I want to do, and I love talking to these guys. I love talking to these bands. I love talking to you, so, yeah. Can't wait to see what we have going on next week. Because it's going to be a fun one. I still don't know what I'm going to do for next week. It's going to be a fun one, though. Maybe I'll bring my buddy Chris on. That would be interesting. I'll try and do that. So, thank you for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to today. My name's Kevin. You just heard my interview with Kingdom Collapse, and please listen to them because they make killer music. Finally, you guys know how I end all this stuff. IGTV videos, YouTube videos, Instagram Lives, and the podcasts. No, I'm not flipping my hat because my headphones are on. So, see y'all.